So when you think of New Zealand, what comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's straight to Middle Earth, right? And hey, you're not wrong. Those mountains, those coastlines, they're absolutely epic. But that's just the postcard. Today, we're going to peel back that layer and get to the real heart of Aotearoa. We're talking fierce warriors, brilliant innovators, and a spirit that was literally forged at the edge of the world.
Okay, first things first, let's tackle the question everyone asks. You've heard it a million times, right? Is it actually true that New Zealand has more sheep than people? Or is that just a fun little myth we all like to repeat? Well, the answer is a huge, resounding, and very woolly yes. And it's not even close, folks. We're talking 25 million sheep to just over 5 million people. That's almost 5 sheep for every person. But here's the thing. This is way more than just a quirky fact. It actually gives you a peek into the country's agricultural backbone, something that has shaped the land and fueled the economy for, well, generations.
All right, so to really get New Zealand, we've got to start with the land itself. You see, its foundations are both physical and spiritual. It's a story that's told in its incredible mountains, its volcanoes, and in a name that's centuries old.
Long before it was ever called New Zealand, it was known as Aotearoa. Now that's the Maori name for the country, and it has this beautiful meaning, land of the long white cloud. Just picture it. It perfectly captures what those first Polynesian navigators must have seen as they approached, this long stretch of land wrapped in clouds appearing on the horizon.
And this land, Aotearoa, is really a tale of two islands. Each one has a totally different personality. You've got the North Island, which is just alive. It's simmering with volcanic energy. You can literally feel the planet breathing with its bubbling mud pools and its geysers. But then you head south, and boom, the landscape just explodes into this whole other kind of drama. We're talking massive, snow-capped southern Alps, ancient glaciers, and these incredible fjords carving their way through the coast.
What's really incredible is how these places have become famous all over the world. You know, you've got the sheer cliffs of Milford Sound, the breathtaking peak of Oraki or Mount Cook, and even the real-life Mount Doom from Lord of the Rings in Tongariro National Park. But see, these aren't just pretty postcards. They're actual characters in New Zealand's story. In this country, nature isn't just the backdrop. It is the main event. But hey, way before any Hollywood film crews showed up, this land was discovered and settled by a people with an incredibly deep spiritual connection to it. And that connection, well, it belongs to the Maori. Their heritage is, without a doubt, the true foundation of New Zealand's identity.
And this culture, it's just woven from these amazing stories and powerful figures. You've got Kupe, the legendary Polynesian navigator who's said to have first discovered Aotearoa. Then there's Te Raparaha, a formidable warrior chief who composed a haka that's still performed today. And you have more modern leaders too, like the incredible Dame Weena Cooper, who led a historic march for Maori land rights. You see, these aren't just names in a history book, they're the very pillars of the nation.
And of course, you absolutely cannot talk about Maori culture without talking about the haka. Now, a lot of people think of it as just a war dance, but it's so much more than that. It's a powerful, ceremonial performance. It's about showing pride, strength, and unity. And the perfect example of its power? The whole world knows it because of the All Blacks rugby team. They perform it before every single game as this intense, incredible challenge to their rivals. So you've got this amazing mix, right? Breathtaking nature on one hand, and these deep indigenous roots on the other. So how did all of that come together to shape what we think of as the modern Kiwi identity? Well, it's a story that involves a bit of social progress, a whole lot of obsession with sports, and maybe even a dessert or two. One of the key things about the Kiwi characters, this really independent, progressive streak they have. I mean, think about this. Way back in 1893, we're talking decades before most other countries, New Zealand became the very first self-governing nation in the world to give all women the right to vote. That was a huge, groundbreaking moment. It literally sent ripples around the globe.
But if there's one single thing that brings the whole country together, it's got to be rugby. And let's be clear here. In New Zealand, rugby is not just a game. It is so much more than that. It's like it's woven into the national DNA. It's a source of incredible pride, nonstop arguments, and honestly, for a lot of Kiwis, it's basically a religion.
And right at the center of that obsession, the All Blacks. This team is, without a doubt, one of the most successful sports teams in history, period. Wearing that iconic silver fern, they represent New Zealand to the world with this incredible legacy of just pure dominance, led by absolute legends like the unstoppable force that was Jonah Lomu and the amazing captain, Richie McCaw.
Now, this spirit of just pure determination, it doesn't stop at the rugby field. Not at all.
For a pretty small, isolated country, New Zealand has had a ridiculously huge impact on the world. It's almost like being at the edge of the world forces you to be more creative, to have this special kind of ingenuity, this can-do attitude that's produced some of the most brilliant people on the planet.
Yeah, it's a mindset that's really led to some incredible breakthroughs. It just goes to show, innovation isn't about where you are on a map, it's all about how you see the world.
Just look at the world of movies, for example. You've got Sir Peter Jackson. He didn't just film in New Zealand, he turned the entire country into Middle-earth and completely changed filmmaking in the process. Then there's the one-of-a-kind Taika Waititi, who brings his unique, quirky humor to these giant Hollywood blockbusters. And of course, the incredible vision of Jane Campion, who's one of the most celebrated directors out there. They all brought a distinctly Kiwi way of seeing things to a global audience.
And that genius doesn't stop at the movie set. It goes right into the science lab, changing how we understand, everything. A New Zealander, Sir Ernest Rutherford, he's only known as the father of nuclear physics. He was the first person ever to split the atom. And Maurice Wilkins, his work was absolutely crucial in figuring out the structure of DNA. I mean, these aren't just small discoveries. These are things that fundamentally changed our world.
The Kiwi sound has also made its way around the globe. I mean, think about Lorde, who just burst onto the scene as a teenager with this super smart minimalist pop music. Or you can go back a bit to the absolute classic anthems from Crowded House. From tiny bedrooms to massive stadiums, these musicians from New Zealand have really given the world a soundtrack.
And then you have the ultimate adventurer, Sir Edmund Hillary, just a humble beekeeper from Auckland who went and did something everyone thought was completely impossible. In 1953, he and Tenzing Norgay were the very first people to stand on top of Mount Everest. He just perfectly embodies that Kiwi spirit of adventure and that quiet, get-it-done determination.
So we've talked about the culture, the people, the history. Let's kind of bring it all together now and look at what it's actually like to experience New Zealand today. Because this isn't just a country you read about, It's a place that's practically begging you to get out there and explore.
And oh man, what an adventure it is. You can literally dive headfirst into the adrenaline of Queenstown, the adventure capital of the world. You can go feel the raw power of the earth in Rotorua, walk through the actual Hobbiton Movie Set, or cruise through those stunning, silent fjords. It's just a non-stop trip through scenery that honestly looks like it's from another planet. The variety of landscapes is it's staggering. Seriously. One day you could be standing on a wild, rugged beach with black sand, and the very next day you could be chilling on a calm, golden shore. In New Zealand, you learn pretty quick that your next amazing adventure is never far away. It's always just around the next bend.
It all kind of comes back to that famous slogan, 100% pure New Zealand. And sure, it started out as just a tourism campaign, but it's become so much more than that. It's really a promise, isn't it? A promise of pure nature, pure adventure, and a pure, unfiltered experience that you're just not going to find anywhere else on Earth.
So that leaves us with this final thought. New Zealand is a nation that's, geographically speaking, on the fringe, right? Way out at the edge of the map. And yet, its culture, its people, its spirit, they've had this massive, seismic impact right in the center of our world. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How does a nation at the world's edge manage to shape the very heart of it all?